Hey, it's Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. We are in a makeshift studio here with little lanterns and flashlights to try to give us light. I'm here with one of the brave medics here, Vanessa Red Bull? Red Bull. And you were one of the leaders here the other night. We've seen the really jarring footage. It looks like you would see a scene in Afghanistan or Iraq. And I think from what I've seen, it's probably the worst stuff I've seen here. Can you kind of just take me through from the beginning? Obviously, we know kind of what initiated it, but did you expect them to use these water cannons? Because we haven't seen that before.
No, I did not. When I got the call that there was an action happening, I immediately left the location that I was at and I headed up to the front lines where we were at. They did not start off with the water cannons. They started off with the pepper spray. That's something we're very used to. And even the bean bags and the rubber bullets. But when they brought out the water cannons and they continued to use them, we were very surprised because it was very cold. I literally watched as crystals and ice formed on people, and they were spraying people directly full on in the face and in the body. And it was just a continuous thing. We did not expect that.
And they lie like every breath, and the media helps them perpetrate that. They say the water protectors started fires and they were trying to put out the fires. Obviously, we have video that shows that's not the case. Could you kind of explain to me, in 23-degree weather, when they're shooting these water hoses, meanwhile you're getting pepper sprayed and this and that, is there risk of kind of like beyond hypothermia, like shock?
Yes. The reason the fires were started were because people were trying to prevent the hypothermia because they were shooting the water cannons, and the fires were nowhere close to the police. As a matter of fact, they were back far away, and people were being brought to the fire to try to warm them up because, as I said, ice was literally forming on their body and on their clothing. I'm not sure why they started using the water cannons. Like I said, it's something we have not seen before. And the continuous use of them, at first they started off on the bridge and they were spraying the water over the top of the crowd. So we turned around and then the water cannons were being used if you were facing headed north, the water cannons were being used on the right-hand side of the bridge down in a field. I was shocked. The dangers of that are, of course, not only hypothermia, but mixed with the chemicals that were there. People already can suffer respiratory distress because of the tear gas and because of the pepper spray. Combine that with water, you're literally setting people up for pneumonia and bronchitis and things that can cause death. It's a very dangerous combination of chemical and water mixed together.
And clearly, it's not like, even if, let's say, for argument's sake, the fires were started by the water protectors, which I've seen no evidence of, that they started it, in an aggressive way, like you said. But it's not like they just magically said, all right, they came with the water cannons and started using them. Just like it's not like they just suddenly have rubber bullets. They are equipped with all this on the spot and have been dispensing them.
Yes. I believe that this action that happened, I don't think it was it wasn't really intended to be an action. When the police showed up in a very aggressive and militant way, people heard that there was an action going on and people started flowing in. I don't think any of us really expected this to happen. It certainly wasn't planned to happen this way. And the aggression that we saw was totally unexpected.
And, obviously everyone pays attention to the worst of the worst. We know of this poor young woman who's had her arm lacerated. As of this interview, I was speaking with a friend of hers. She's in another surgery. As far as I know, they're trying to save the arm still. But could you talk about now, 2 days later, when you go from hypothermia, what are you seeing now? Are people starting to have colds or pneumonia or bronchitis?
Yes, since the action, and this has proceeded throughout the night and throughout the day, we're starting to see a lot of people who are very uncomfortable. There's a lot of coughing, their head hurts. A lot of people are having ear pain. Many people have suffered because of the concussion grenades that were set off, some temporary loss of hearing or decreased hearing. We've had some respiratory illnesses that are starting to form. If this happened and you had a cold or a little bit of a chest congestion coming on, it has certainly perpetuated that into something more serious.
Which a lot of people have here. Even before this happened, it's like 25 degrees out.
I try to explain to everybody that where we're located, especially here in Ochedi-Socoin, we're like in a bowl. So with all the campfires that we have around and the dry conditions with all the dust, everything just settles over the top. So what happens is these particles that are falling are causing people to have these chronic coughs. Combined with the water and the chemicals now, it has just exacerbated every kind of respiratory issues. Certainly people are coming in and bringing medications and saying, I need to do a nebulizer treatment. Our doctors are certainly have sent people off to the hospital saying, hey, we need to get a chest x-ray because this is sounding a little worse. But this is continued throughout the day. So even though this action happened Sunday evening, it is going to be a continuing problem, and we certainly are expecting more patients to come in.
Now, obviously you can't get in their heads, but in your estimation, is this pretty simple? The winter is here. They're becoming more aggressive to try to either get people sick enough to leave or scared enough to leave.
I honestly believe that, and this is just my opinion, I honestly believe that what has happened here is a case of a kid be given a new toy. And I really, truly believe that Martin County Police have been giving very powerful weapons by Energy Access and by the DAPL people. They've been giving these tools, and so they're pulling out every tool they have in their arsenal toward us.
And by the Bank of North Dakota, who keeps funding them, and by Governor Jack Dalrymple, who keeps asking for more money.
Yes, it's ridiculous. When back in September, when they asked for $6 million to help with this crisis of these protesters, which are totally ridiculous. I was thinking, how ridiculous that you're asking for $6 million against unarmed, peaceful, prayerful people. How ridiculous. We are not a danger to you. As you can see, they're a danger to us. So far as I know, and I'm very involved in a lot of things in camp. I know a lot of people. I've been here for a while. I've never seen a single solid firearm. I've never seen anyone make an aggressive move toward the police. It's just ridiculous. They are the ones who have blown this out of proportion. They are the ones, instead of protecting peaceful, prayerful people, they are now working by their own admission in conjunction with Energy Access, with the DAPL Corporation. They are the ones who have brought war to the people. What has impressed me and kind of broke my heart all at the same time is that the more they throw at us, the more that they become aggressive, the stronger the people become, the more prayerful they become, and the more that they are willing to move forward and stay peaceful and prayerful. They are trying to bring a war to us. We are not going to engage in their war. The only way we can lose this battle is to go to their lows. We're not going to do that. They can stop, because the more you keep beating us back, the more people who are going to join us. I don't know what part of that they're not seeing. The more aggressive they get, the more people come, and the more support we get. They are just taking this to a depth of viciousness that I've never seen.
Could you talk about, obviously there's another area for emotional well-being and mental health, but could you kind of talk about what the morale is? I mean, I know the night of, people were probably scared, panicked, but the day after, the second day now, what's been kind of the morale when you see patients? Are they Are people relatively calm? I know you said that you get stronger after they, push with more aggressive action.
People are very concerned, of course, but today in camp, I've seen people playing football. I've seen people going about their day-to-day activity and people laughing and talking. Of course, everyone is concerned and worried, but understand from a Native perspective, this is nothing new to us, the violence like this is, but we've faced oppression pretty much our whole lives. We have been beat down. We have been the underdogs. We've been the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak, and we're kind of used to these of just kind of be the low end of things. We're just good people who are facing bad situations, and we're used to it. I have seen a lot of people who have suffered emotional trauma, and there have been many people who've come throughout the night and throughout the day and talked to me and asked, can you just talk with me, and cried and wept and said, I don't understand why they're doing this. I don't have an answer to that. I can just say that it's need and greed. We as people need clean water. We need clean air. We need clean land to leave for our future generations. We need it for us. This land doesn't belong to us. Turtle Island belongs to our future. And I see the greed of this company, that all they can think of is their money and getting that oil out of the ground for their greed. There's really no purpose for it. The oil that's being pumped is not even slated to be used here in the U.S. It is to be shipped to foreign countries. So they can't even say that it's going to benefit us. Those are the things that I'm seeing as the people's confusion as to why they are doing this. Why are they being so violent?
One thing I find very interesting, when you see riots in Baltimore, when an African American gets killed by police, same thing in Ferguson, all the media is there. You got TV news anchors, reporters, they're all on the streets. Rightly so, they should be. But when it involves an oil company and Native Americans, crickets, nobody's here.
Well, one thing for sure, $3.8 billion obviously speaks louder than 6,000 Native Americans. It's a sad fact that...
You think the media, just because...
The companies, there are 6 companies that own the majority of the media here in the United States. They're going to be told what they're going to report. I have to say, I really don't like watching the news. I'm a firm believer in believe about a third of what you hear.
Besides the Young Turks.
Besides the Young Turks, of course. There are... People are being conditioned what to think and how to think. People are not knowing how to think for themselves. Do some investigating. Go and look at the videos of what's actually taking place, the live feeds, the things that are putting out there, and then listen to the reports that are being put on the news. They do not coincide. They do not coincide. And if you have 1 ounce of brain in you, you can look and see these live feeds and say, where are the weapons? Where are the pipe bombs? Where are all these things they're accusing us of having? You don't see them because they don't exist. But yet the media is saying exactly what they're being told to say. They're presenting it as they're told to present it. And people are conditioned to believe what they hear in the media. So with only 6 corporations that are probably heavily invested in the oil industry, of course, we are not getting the truth of what is happening.
And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but as a medical professional, are you nervous that this is going to get worse and we're possibly going to see real bullets or worse injuries, casualties? Because it seems I've been here 5 times, and every time I come back, it's escalating.
Yes. It's kind of a sad fact that every time we go out on an action, every time we have to face the police, I think, is this the day that some Yahoo, some cop is going to decide, I'm going to use live ammo and one of our people will die. I don't want to see this become another Wounded Knee. I don't want this to become a martyr situation. I don't want to see it go there, but do I suspect that will happen? Most likely. They have just continuously escalated every situation, and the violence continues to escalate on their part. So, do I want that to happen? Of course not. Do I see it happen? That's my real fear. That instead of treating a rubber bullet or a beanbag to a leg, I'm going to be treating someone with a bullet hole through their leg.